Let's talk about society and politics. Presented by Smith Co.
Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk About Politics and Society. So today we're going to be talking about religion. So please don't unsubscribe. Religion is one of those topics which, it tends to get a little problematic because, I understand why you might want to unsubscribe to someone who's kind of pushing a religion, because that makes sense. You're pushing religion on somebody else. And I also understand why you might want to unsubscribe to someone who's kind of bashing your religion. But the problem, of course, is when people bash a religion and then they have one. Because, it's kind of hypocritical. It's like, so you're saying this person has no reasons for the belief, that their belief is wrong, and there's no way for them to prove their belief is correct. So do you. So, hypocrisy is, it's no reason to discount someone's arguments. Just because someone's being a hypocrite doesn't mean necessarily the argument is wrong. They might want to look at themselves and go, oh, yeah, actually this applies to me too. But, it doesn't mean the argument is wrong. It doesn't mean you should just cast aside. But it does mean that, you might want to consider just thinking like, well, maybe don't be so harsh on them, and then don't then defend your own religion elsewhere. So basically how I put this is a flat playing field. So I would say that most religions are they're not really founded in proper full on facts. So that includes Christianity. It also includes Hinduism, Islam, and multiple others. The point is, I don't want to be offensive, but, religion is one of those issues which, you don't want it to influence your state. Because the problem, of course, with religion in the modern age is that, you see this particularly in a lot of Western nations. We're going to talk about that in the next video, about a certain Western nation. Not Western. It's not like super Western like America, which is just, it's like so Western. It's like they're just trying too hard to be offensive. It's like they're Western and they're also racist. So it's like, well, you are just, there's so many bad things in America. I'm not insulting Americans. I'm just saying America is so bad. Like as a country, it has so many flaws that in a way, it's like, well, just take it back a little step and just think about it. But basically how this works is like, if a country, like a lot of Western nations do, like you'll see this in America, you'll see this in multiple countries across the Western nations, also across other nations as well, that the churches, whether those churches are Christianity based, Hinduism, whether they're for Islam, whatever the case may be, or just completely they're not one of the main religions. Just, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that religions, you'll see this in multiple countries, that religious kind of churches or just religious groups control the government, which doesn't really make much sense, because as I've said, I'm not insulting you if you believe in religion. I'm just saying that it's not always a good idea to put the people who profess to be, trying to, support the level of thing where you're like, we have no actual proof about this, but we believe it. You don't really want those people in charge of things. Now, there are some churches that actually do some good. And in some cases that is good. But if you look at Christianity, a lot of Christians, the Catholic Church specifically, have been accused of many things, and it's been proven that they did do many, many terrible things. So have many Protestants, and that's the sort of thing we have a lot of Protestant churches, supported the killings of people who aren't of their religion, so do the many Catholics, and that's the problem. It also means, also have many, priests being, well, very unpleasant, and this is the sort of thing you have here, which is that it's further than that though. It's not just them doing like bad things, but it's like they have bad policies, like bad things that people will follow. And I know this is kind of passion in Christianity, but the Christian church has been very, very sexist in historically speaking, and in up to you could argue to this day they're very, very sexist. And this is the problem. Like, obviously you could argue, well, they've become less so, but still it's still present there, and there's still a lot of problems that you see. That's a problem, because you don't want to give people who have that kind of a history, who have that kind of a bad policy. You've seen multiple countries that churches have almost corrupted them because if they gained independence, and then the problem is that there's a power vacuum. And I get, in some cases you can say, well, that is a problem with someone leaving, because you can't just leave and then you go, yeah, we're just gonna leave. There's a bunch of people vying for power, but it's not morally wrong at all, is it? And it kind of is, though. It really, really is morally wrong to just leave a country like that, because you want to get out. You want to get out of there, yeah, and you probably should if they don't want you there. But the problem, I think, a lot of the time is that there is an issue when it comes to this sort of thing, because a lot of countries, do fall prey to this sort of thing, which is that churches aren't always the best route to go. So, there's always that thing where you have the separation between church and state, because you do want to have that in some cases, because not having that tends to cause problems. If you look at a couple of things around the world, you will see that, people don't often mix well when it comes to religions. People can mix very well when they're, not very well, but people can sometimes mix well if you disregard religion. But if you include religion, then things can become complicated. Oftentimes, Christians have a lot of trouble mixing with other religions. I think you just see that there's a massive amount of problems in that case, where you do have this issue, which is religion does tend sometimes to divide people. Even, if you look at just within Christianity, Protestants and Catholics have been at each other's throats for many, 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 many years, and multiple wars have been fought over it. Like, millions of people have died due to people fighting over, which is a subtype of one religion. So millions upon millions of people have died because of this sort of religion clashing thing. And the point is, you could argue, well, if your beliefs are wrong, and I don't mean your beliefs are wrong and somebody else's beliefs are right, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if everyone's beliefs are wrong, then, because if you're basing your belief off something which is, it's not accurate, then you may result in a little bit of problem when you're like, well, all those wars we fought, well, actually we were wrong, but so was the other side. So it's not so much that, this was, we were in the wrong. No, you're not in the wrong. Having that conflict was pointless. It had no purpose to it, because when you get to the purpose of, like, the thing where you're saying, okay, you're fighting over something, or you're attacking, basically, I understand why you might attack another country if you thought, they attacked us. But where's the root of it? Generally, nowadays, it's money. But, the point is, if you look at this sort of thing where it's like, okay, so if you want to get at this, I'm not trying to say, your religion is stupid. I'm just saying, don't always instantly accept or instantly say no, because it is an important thing to look at, to say, well, you can't realistically say you're wrong and I'm right, because you both may be wrong. And that's the main issue, because if you both are basing off something that you believe in, off just belief, no full-on facts, or if there are full-on facts, they're kind of, they're not very there as much, then you may run into problems, because what happens is, well, anyone can technically say, well, that's not really, accurate enough. That, come on, seriously, just like, it doesn't, because it does cause various problems around the world. You will see this. So, if you are thinking about this sort of thing, remember, doesn't always mean Like, it doesn't mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, just saying, don't always think that either you're right or you're just kind of just change religion anyway, because that's not accurate, you know, which is a problem. Which this video has gone on for way too long, isn't it? I'd say everyone's probably clicked out by now, but you know, or maybe you've skipped onto the video and you've got landed here. Very unlikely. But anyway, point is, to wrap it all up, basically, to fight amongst religions, which is a thing that you see oftentimes in the world, is basically a foolish idea, because, you know, if almost all religions are based on belief, then almost all religions may well be false, and probably are false, just saying. So that means, you know, not just one side, all sides are fighting for nothing. So just saying. But, you know, hopefully you haven't unsubscribed, because I'm not bashing your religion, just saying, don't put down others, or don't I don't know. Don't think that religion should be the root for your area. You know, for violence. Violence should not be caused because of religion. Because, you know, don't base violence off belief.